Pictures, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in his student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wade in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, that's a sign already. Excuse me, and let me see if I can actually get my voice to behave itself today. This may not work, but I'm sure gonna give it a try. Alright, everybody, hello, and welcome to Show X on VTWProductions.com. You're listening live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT. Today, Sunday the 6th of September. Wow, our first September show. And I am coming to you on location again, out traveling yet again, this time in the lovely land of Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I'm at, yes. Because I'm out here for Dragon Con! And so that's right. Thank you, Cup. I'm glad you remembered that as well as yours. Like, wait, his hair's back. I'm in a hotel room. What's going on? Oh, that's right. It's Dragon Con. Alright, everybody, it's funny because as I was getting everything put in here, I was kind of like, oh wait, that's right, my face, my eyes, I'm alive. Oh, so much going on, and that could be almost an opening for what essentially I've been dealing with. Alright, let me fix this real quick because my webcam input, as I had upgraded, but I never told it to use this input. Aha! Look at that, beautiful 720p. Alright, thank you, minicams. I need to fill my whole spot here, my little corner, wait, this side, corner of the show before Ken gets here. So, normally I would say, yes, enjoy each week by Ken! And he said initially last week that he wouldn't be able to do the show today, but then he just contacted me and said, nope, I am on my way, so you will give me a call in a moment when he is all sorted and is here for the show, which is good, because I will tell you what, I was not sure whether or not I would have the stamina to be able to pull off an entire show today on my own. Because, oh Dragon Con, you are a thing, yes you are, oh Dragon Con. So, we will get into that in a little bit. I'll probably wait for Ken to get here to really get into the details of Dragon Con. But we will keep going. So yes, I'm in a hotel room in Atlanta, Georgia! And I will tell you for one thing, I always forget, gosh darn it, the southeast of the U.S. has some humidity, and so I am suffering. It is basically the exact same temperature here as it was in Denver when I left. The difference being here, I'm swimming through the soup of the atmosphere around me because the humidity is so damn high. In doing so, I feel constantly, like, just, well, partially drained, I'd say is probably the right word for it. And just so much going on where, like, you know, it's not that walking up and down the hills doesn't bother me so much, but walking up and down the hills and then stopping and just being like, oh, everywhere on me, that's a bit rough. Alright, so as I try to sort myself, covering for Ken here in the moment, everything sound alright, everyone? And by that I mean, hey, Hando and Cup Check, how's it sounding? Because it looks like everything's going out right, but I kind of last minute was like remembering, oh yeah, so the video and everything, and oh by the way, I'm on a shaky connection because I'm on a hotel. I actually jumped onto the hotel internet, plugged in directly, at least they still have Ethernet cables, thankfully, but in doing so, I first plugged in and everything seemed to like really take its time getting started. I was a little concerned. Well, I decided to do a speed test because, you know, that's how you check to make sure that the world's not going to end when you're trying to do the show. And my goodness, if they aren't running, or limiting is what I should say properly, if they aren't limiting the connection speed here for the regular connection to half a meg up and half a meg down, and my initial ping was like half a second, which, boy, that was not good. Yes, Cup, I am complaining about the humidity. It's killing me. And we'll see how it goes, but yeah. And then you're saying that... Okay, thanks for the sound part. Sound check, yes. And July, coming to Anime Blues Con. Then you'll know what heat is. No. And no. This is too much for me already. Even when I was up in Anime North with the girls in Toronto, that humidity was killing me. Why can't you all live in a nice, comfortable desert like I do in Denver? It's so nice. And Ken says he's going to get ready to try to call me, so we will see if that comes through. And I may have to like switch the scenes real quick to make sure it brings in his call once he does. Oh, wait, here he comes. Hey, look at that.
Hey, hello.
Alright, so everyone should be able to hear you. Let me switch the scenes up and see if that will... Oh, wait, there we go. Bring you on. Haha! Got it. There, the video has you with me. Look at you with
fantastic.
With those massive headphones.
Yeah, so my normal headphones are elsewhere, so I had to make do. Is my sound quality okay? Is everything okay?
Mostly. You're a little echoey, but other than that, you're okay.
Okay, I can hold it closer.
Oh, look! It's like
hello.
Hey, I put my mic right here. It is physically right here.
I do, but we don't have a desk. I'm sitting on a couch because that's the only furniture we own, so I don't have much choice.
You don't even have like a fold-out tray or something that you can put it on in front of you, or build another stack or tower of books and boxes like you have in the past.
I could do that, but considering I'm just in the door, as you can probably tell by the fact that the dog is walking back and forth, wondering why I'm ignoring him. Well, actually, he's wondering why I'm talking to him in such a strange way when I don't look at him, and I'm looking instead at this large box and this strange phallic-shaped mesh
thing. Especially when you bring that closer to your mouth like that. So you don't have to eat the mic. You don't have to eat the mic, but it's just when it is back, it is a little more echoey. And so that's all I was noticing. But no, you're fine. You can set it down if you want, Ken. I'm just telling you, your quality sucks when you do that.
I'll configure it as we go. I'll configure it as we go, don't worry. And I'll join the IRC in the video. I'll get into all that. Anyway, where were we? We were dysfunctional deviating, I assume.
Well, I haven't...
How are you doing, sir?
I haven't officially done it because I was waiting for you to get here to do so. So yes.
Oh, that's
I will
nice of you.
officially come in and say it's time for...
Functional deviations.
And as I was explaining, my initial challenges was the internet on my remote rig this week, as I'm out in Atlanta, Georgia, DragonCon. And it was because when I first jumped on and I did my speed test and everything, I was trying to control the server remotely, it said, oh, you're streaming it up at half a meg up and half a meg down. Ugh. But when I logged in, they did have it on the website for the hotel to say, hey, you can pay for premium access, $5 for the day. So I was like, well, for the show, yes, I am definitely going to do that. Which gave me a whopping 1.5 meg each direction, so it tripled the speed. But I will say, it seems like it's just enough to be able to do the entire show. Although we're probably at the...
video.
Yes,
on video too.
We're on video, we're on audio, it's all there, so... You may catch a little bit of Skype garbling here and there, but because I think we're at the ragged edge. But for the most part, I think you're going to get a proper, well, at least technically, proper show today. So...
No, well done to you, sir, for managing to put this together. I know it's been a bit of a hectic week for yourself. You've been traveling and doing lots of fun things. And I literally finished my shift 25 minutes ago and just walked in the door. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic attempt to get the show together, but we've managed.
Yes, we are here, we are streaming, we are live. Alright, so please, although I haven't, and Ken, maybe you can, I'll tweet it out to the world that yes, this is happening. Because I was too busy getting everything just started. So, with that, let's see. No, I haven't grabbed what the video feed is yet. Alright, anyhow, dysfunctional deviations!
Let me do the Twitter things, you do the other things.
Alright, so, as I was saying, I'm at DragonCon this week, and so really, I don't know if I have anything I can talk about that isn't officially geeky this week. I got through where I flew out here Thursday, and so most of my week outside of that was a little bit of training and my dance class and things like that, and that's really about it. It really has not been a non-geeky week for me. So I will go ahead and sort it out to you, Ken, and say, like, what have you been doing that hasn't been geek this week?
Oh, geez, not geek? So I've got a couple stories, actually. I was hoping to have a little bit more time to sort of sort things here, but I'll make do. I'll make do. So it's been 2 weeks, obviously. So first of all, apologies for not being here last week, but you know, the thing that I actually get paid for comes in front of the things that I don't get paid for. And I know people donate to the show and stuff, but as I've said before, that doesn't go into our pockets. Sadly, it goes into the show's pockets. It pays for the running fees of things, etc. So while we're not actually technically paid for this, So instead, I was at work last week, so apologies for that. But I've got some stories, so let's make do and make this a double awesome show instead. So I can't talk too much stuff about work. I've never been told that, but it's respectful, right? You don't want to talk crap about your work. You don't want to make your business look bad. And I can assure you that the pub that I work at is anything but bad. It's fantastic. It's a great pub. But as any pub does have, there are drunk people there, and occasionally silly things happen. So this one guy who, to be fair, he was not a regular. I don't think he was local. I'd never seen the guy before. So that means that I'm not really talking crap about a potential customer, considering I barred the guy. So I barred the first ever person I've ever had to bar before. Ever. Usually if somebody's had too much to drink, they're usually quite nice. They're just like, oh, I'm sorry, am I being a pain? Yeah, can I have a water? And I'll chill out and I'll try and relax. That's what the majority of the clientele are like, because they're good people, you know? They're locals, they don't want to cause any troubles. And sometimes you get somebody who's drank too much and is sick in the bathroom or something, but again, they tend to just go home because they don't want to be there anymore. They've had enough, they know that. People tend to be really good with these kind of things. This one chap, however, he didn't have too much. He had a few, clearly, but first of all, we got a couple of complaints about drinks going missing, which was the first telltale there, so we started paying a bit more attention. One of my colleagues then noticed that this guy we hadn't served, and yet he was drinking, which is another interesting thing. And then we noticed him trying to steal cigarette butts out of ashtrays. Yeah, outside. We don't allow smoking inside in Scotland, so it was outside. And that was enough. You know, three strikes, and we were like, so. My manager went out and, well, my supervisor went out and said, hey, you gotta go. She's this, like, 5'2" girl, really nice. She's got a hell of a passion and a fire inside her. When she's mad, you know you've been told, right? You hear no end to it, and you feel bad. So she went out and unleashed a hellfire of, you are not welcome here, leave, do not come back in. And yet the guy came back in twice more later throughout the day over the hours. Which is quite annoying. And the final time she kicked him out, being the supervisor is obviously her role to do so, to be the one who kicks people out, because you know, I'm just a lesser employee. I shouldn't be barring people or anything. That's more a managerial kind of thing, because, you know, you're effectively saying you're not welcome to give us money anymore. You gotta have some kind of managerial position to be able to do that, really. Otherwise, it's, you know, I could be kicking out somebody who doesn't deserve to be kicked out, etc. So you need somebody with some sort of privilege to do that, responsibility to do that. And so my supervisor has that. So anyway, she kicks the guy out twice. He comes back, and the final time she kicks him out, the guy says, well, F you, and puts his finger right up to her face while walking out. Very aggressive. And the locals, I can already see on their chairs, they're ready to get up if there's any more trouble.
Gotcha.
They're good. Because they're regulars, they're likable, they're nice folk, and they're like part of the family, you know? And they don't want, obviously, one of the girls behind the bar to have that kind of trouble. Or the guys,
absolutely,
obviously.
Yes.
So later on, she's in the back doing some work, changing a keg or whatever, and I'm the one on bar, and he comes back in, and I'm like, oh well, I guess it's gotta be me who's gotta stand up to this asshole this time. So I get up, I go over to him, and I say, leave. And he says, why? And I'm like, because I told you to. And he goes, okay, and leaves. And he never comes back.
Nice.
I think when you're that level of drunk, you're that level of an asshole, you don't take most people will take a telling, they'll take leave now, do not come back as enough. But occasionally, I guess, when you're that level of drunk, or you're that just aggressive yourself, you need somebody bigger than you to come over and say it. And so it was useful that I can make use of my own size and stuff, even if I don't have the talent like she did. So it was good to actually be able to prove my worth at the bar and make the clientele feel safer and my fellow staff. So I felt good for that.
Nice.
I gotta feel sorry for the guy though. What kind of level of life you gotta be to be stealing cigarette butts from ashtrays? That's pretty bad.
Not the life. Well, yeah, not the life decisions I would make.
No, and it's unfair on the other clients there because they just want to have a quiet drink. One of them went to the toilet, came back, and found his drink missing. You know, I mean, we gave him another one because we're not that kind of pub that'd be like, oh, it's not our problem. We'll take the hit because we want it to be a friendly and nice environment where people feel safe and happy, obviously. So that was a bit of an experience. And we had a similar incident today where I had to call the police for the first time ever. It wasn't anything bad, actually. The guy wasn't being a problem per se. We were more concerned for his safety because it was midday, and when we just opened, and he strolled in very, very, very drunk. And he was falling. When he spilled a pint, he fell and hit his head on the concrete. And we said, like, guy, you can't come in here. We can't serve you. You're a danger to yourself and others around you. Instead of just kicking him out so I'm supposed to kick him out. That's my job.
Yeah.
But being a concerned guy, because it's midday. The guy thought he was in Edinburgh.
Whoa.
That's not where we are. He thought he was in a different city. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty strange level of drunk there. And he might not have been just on drink. Who knows? So I did the right thing. I got the guy outside the bar. I sat him down in one of the outside seating areas. And I brought him some water. I said, hey man, just chill out. Hey, look, it's a lovely day. Just enjoy the sunshine. Just sit outside, okay? The guy kept coming back in though, so... It wasn't bad, he wasn't violent, he wasn't aggressive, but he did keep following around and stuff, so... I called the police and I said, hey guys, we've got somebody here who's refusing to move on. He might need to sleep it off in a cell or something overnight, I don't know, because he's definitely at a special level of alcohol intoxication where I'm concerned for his health.
Yeah, that's... Woo!
So that's kind of one of the most important roles I've learned about being bar staff is you're not kicking people out to be like, you've had too much, don't make a mess of my pub. It's more along the lines of, sir, are you okay? You seem to be endangering yourself here. Yes. So learned that this week. It was a good past 2 weeks. It's been a good couple experiences, and it's all ended fine, completely reciprocal. Everybody's very happy. It's no problem. The police never showed up, which I'm a little bit peeved at. So thanks very much, Sterling Police, for your contribution to the public's health there and safety. We had to do it ourselves. Thankfully, he wasn't being aggressive or anything. But that's why in the UK we have two numbers. We have emergency and non-emergency police numbers.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we do too. We just don't have... I mean, most people just don't know they're non-emergency. And now it makes sense for yours to have it right there. Since
I mean, we have the emergency number, which is like within 5 minutes kind of thing. You will have assistance ASAP. There's a gunman or a knifeman or something crazy, right?
Yeah, it's for us. It's our 911 essentially.
Yeah, that's our 999 exactly. But instead, we have a 101 number that's not really well known, but they're trying to advertise it. But basically, yeah, it's just there is something going down. For example, there's kids at the park drinking, or something that's not an emergency but is definitely breaking a crime. It doesn't need urgent response. You don't want to wait on something minor like, I don't know, drunken disorderly, or somebody's being annoying versus a stabbing, right? You want you want to have the correct allocations. So the police might have just been busy today, but regardless, they didn't show up within 4 hours, which is a bit ridiculous. So I wasn't very happy with that. I won't talk crap about my business because I have no reason to. But I will talk crap at the police when they don't do their freaking job. I don't know why you didn't show up, guys. I gave you my number, my name, and my pub. You should have been there. You're lucky. We're just lucky that it didn't turn into anything else.
Yeah, that it wasn't. Yeah, nothing worse, and him not hopefully and truly causing any danger to himself. That
exactly. So, other than that, let's see. Oh, jeez, I've had a pretty crazy week with work. I've had a lot of deadlines and stuff to make. Kitten left for Geneva.
Okay, family time?
Yeah, she's visiting her mother and her sisters, which is good. So I've got the house to myself and the Doge to myself. So it's quite sad. I've only had 2 short shifts this week, 5-hour ones. But he's been left all on his own for 5 hours twice this weekend, which is really sad. We tried... Like if Kitten's working, I tend to try and take the work from home or whatever, just so that the Doge isn't alone, you know. We tried to leave it max 2 hours, but tonight that's just because of circumstance. This week he's had it twice. So poor guy. That's why he's running around just now trying to get my attention. Hey, I've been bored and alone and sad. You're home. I'm excited. Why are we not doing anything? So it's a bit sad. But there you have it. Other than that, this week, nothing. I think there's nothing exciting. I bet there's something else that'll come up. I think there's some more stories, but I can't remember. Yeah, I have 2 workshops in the next 2 days I'll be going through Edinburgh for, which has free lunches and wine receptions, so that's never a bad thing. I'm not complaining. I did have one bother in the past couple weeks, actually. I wouldn't say it's work's fault. It's just one of those things that happen when you work. It's not as if I'm blaming the business here. It's more I'm blaming capitalist cultures more than anything, I guess. But somebody called in sick to work, and that means that the bar requires 2 people to be on the bar, so that if one person needs to go to the toilet, there's somebody always on the bar. So requirement. Which makes sense, of course. I'm not blaming that either. It is an obvious legal requirement. That was the one day my mother came to come visit for her birthday.
Oh no!
So it was either myself or Kitten had to go in. Kitten had just worked 5 days and was on 5 for the next 5 days afterwards. So that means she'd have to do, like an 11-day sprint of work, which isn't very fair.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. That's... Oof.
Plus, I don't know if you guys have noticed the difference, but there's a purple wall behind me. We've been doing some housework in between all of our crazy schedules. Trying to paint the place and so... Since Kitten's more creative than I am, we decided with my mother coming through to visit, we'd make the most of it. They'd do housework and do some painting and stuff and have a girls' day in, and I went and did a shift. It was a shame because my mum came to visit me for her birthday, and I couldn't even stay here. So it was quite a shame. I felt really bad. It's just because that's why, if I worked one job, it wouldn't be so bad, but because I work 2 jobs, means that at the weekends I'm not free to see her either. So I've still not seen her for her birthday. It's my dad's birthday next week as well.
Oh jeez.
And I'm just like, I hope I can come visit you guys at some point and wish you happy birthday instead of just the passing 10 minutes that I saw him on or whatever. So that's kind of sad. Kind of sad thing about working so much, but there you have it. It's also
pays the bills. It's it's what you got to do.
Well, it's not paying the bills. We already pay the bills. This is the extra. This is the not eat ramen. This is the
come on, that's
able to go on holiday.
Yeah, being able to do anything else with your life besides just work.
Yeah, well, no, it means that it means we just work. Like, I'm even working Christmas and New Year. I don't get holidays anymore. But it means that we have, for the few minutes we have spare, we've got spare money. I mean, if I want to get a taxi home, I can do it. If I want to get a meal out whenever I feel like it, I can do it. I've got the spare cash. It's nice. I just don't have any time anymore. I work like 40-hour job and, I don't know, 15, 20 hours on top of that now, so... Never mind the fact that the 40-hour job's really more than 50.
Yeah, exactly. Oui.
Ugh, and because I'm working all day, my throat's already dying. Oh, jeez.
Oh no, I know the pain because my throat will be at limits today on the show. I was actually very happy to hear that you were going to make it because I may not have been able to do a full show by myself today. We'll just put it that way. I had because I'm at con and doing costumes and running around, I've been stretching myself to the limits.
Oh yeah, that's what you do at cons.
Oh god, and especially this one, which I think if we're going to transition over to my speak now,
sure.
Then I will go ahead and do this and say,
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek cred, level up!
Because do I have stories myself. Mine just coming from the convention. And, where do I start? So, I'll try to do this as best I can in chronological order and see if it works. And I apologize to everyone who was watching video stream because as I was playing with it and paying attention, the stream is at a limit, so I adjusted things on our end because we were dropping frames left and right, and now it's a little cleaner. So if you were watching the video and was hiccuping, it should be cleaner now. It's not going to be a high quality, but you should be able to hear and see everything. Alright, so let's see. So Dragon Con, essentially I'm booked to be out here. I came out here Thursday and I'm booked to go back Tuesday afternoon essentially, or Tuesday morning-ish to Denver. And I thought, okay, that's a long time, but it's our long weekend. It's Labor Day weekend here, so most people don't have to work tomorrow. So it kind of made sense to go over. With that, I was figuring, okay, it's a convention, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this one's kind of crazy because it's going to be Monday too. 4 days of convention, holy cow, which is a lot. So I'm coming in on Thursday, and I got in late, like 8:45 or so. I was like, no big deal. Here, done. Let me, I got in. Gnomewise wasn't in the room. I'm staying with Gnomewise from Alpha Geek Radio. He's sharing the room with me. But he wasn't in. He was down at the main convention stuff, and I think he might have been hanging out with Total Biscuit or something like that. I know he's here as well, but I have not seen Total Biscuit or his wife since I've been here because I've been running around with other people. But, and the thing that Gnomewise does is he sets up the back, tech, the underlying tech for everything that is streamed. Not for Dragon Con per se, but all the podcast panels and all the podcasters that are here use Alpha Geek Radio, Alpha Geek Media stuff to get it all out to the interwebs. And so Todd, the Gnomewise, is doing what he does best, which is enabling everyone to have professional shows out there, including us, as we stream through his service. So much love to Gnome for all of that. It just sucks because I don't think I've had any drinks with him yet this weekend. But so he's off doing whatever.
That's a great shame. I wish there was more stories to tell from those kind of experiences, so try to at some point.
Well, it's one of those that we have hung out to some degree, but again, we are running around in slightly different circles. Although I have had an opportunity through him to meet some pretty cool people. So got in Thursday night and went down to the hotels, and I want to say my buddy Damien was here. He's a long time Dragon Con goer, has gone for many, many years since he used to live out in the area. And so I met up with him, and we had some drinks at the bar there, and I was surprised looking around at how many people were already there on what is considered day 0 for the convention because it's the day before. And there were just tons of people. It was packed. And the whole lobby of this hotel, and so many of them were already in costume. Because I was very conservative this week, and I only brought 2 costumes with me. I brought my Mr. Satan Hercule, and I brought my my Shepherd book, which is why the hair's back for today. And as soon as we're finished, I'll be spraying it and starting the transformation.
Well, that's good. You got the 2 best ones then.
2 that I very much enjoy.
At least my 2 favorite anyway.
Yeah, and they're ones I've been doing over and over again this time, so it's like, it makes sense. And I missed that because I didn't get up today. So I was on your behalf, Ken, going to go to a panel this morning, but instead I recovered. It was an hour with Jim Butcher.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because specifically, as you've been talking, he is here. Now, granted, I wouldn't have known what the heck to say to him or do anything, but...
No, that's fair enough, dude.
And we'll see.
You being able to exist and not be sick and have fun is more important.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, and as soon as the show finishes, I don't know. I'll be right butting up to the time of when there's a panel for Venture Brothers, because the entire sound or the voice actors, the artists, everything from Venture Brothers is basically here, and I have a lot of friends who would love that. Anyway, oh well. That I will have to survive without. So anyhow, Thursday, and it's funny, when I first looked at it, I looked at the overall schedule, and that was my first thing, because they have a great app for the phone for Dragon Con. I say great, some people are like, man, it's not the best, but it's comprehensive. But you go back to Thursday, and on Thursday, there were events scheduled, throughout the day on day 0. Not a lot, but just meetups and little things that people get around, including officially the Dragon Con Newbie Walking Tour. Because this event takes place in 3, 4, 5 primary hotels in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Now, the nice thing is at least 3 or 4 of them are all physically connected in some way or right next to each other. 3 of them are physically connected. One of them's a little ways off, and the other one a little ways the other direction. So there's a lot of walking and to traverse and get to all the different venue locations where things are happening. But we were hanging out Thursday, having drinks, and I was very fortunate, when I was getting already day 0 a little overwhelmed, which is how many people were here and how much was going on just drinking and such, that my buddy Damien introduced me to his friend of his, Lee, who's been doing this since she was a child. Her mother had started her doing it, and she is essentially my age as well. So she's been coming to Dragon Con for over 2 decades, or however long this con's been going on. She remembered coming in where it was one hotel, one room, one little thing like that, to where now it's blossomed into this 65,000 I think people attend this weekend. at least. That might be per day. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But, you know, it's a big, big convention. So I got a private walking tour of, like, all the venue locations. And really, it was more about the how to get from building to building. Because they have these connected sky bridges that go between the hotels.
That's cool.
The challenge is they're not all on the same level. Because there's hills downtown. And so you start in one where you might be on the 3rd or 4th story of one hotel and you end up on the 1st story of the next hotel. Or kind of vice. And then the other sky bridge going to the next hotel is up on the 7th floor. You know, it's just kind of like this intertwining of these pipes of travel. And so they don't always go in logical open corridors. They're sometimes around, like one of them, the main one's like, that I first go to is behind the bar and off into the side. And so there's just too many opportunities to get lost. And find yourself looking around like, wait, I thought I was going the right place. Where the hell am I? And that's just like everywhere here. So I was very fortunate though, because I at least got that day 0 walkthrough when there was basically nobody around. Basically, ton of people, but nobody really traveling back and forth. So that was very helpful. Big shout out and thanks to Lee for that, because that's at least got me maintained for today, at least started. But on top of that, again, just the people. There's so much of just like so many people and everywhere. First night, I did not get drunk. I'll put it that way, yeah. But I also came to realize, forcibly and unknowns to myself, that I've heard stories that Dragon Con is kind of like this all day, all night, 24/7 go. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Because almost every other convention I've been to, especially in Denver, is my main ones to compare to, Anime North, even when I went to Anime Boston. Most of those conventions kind of wrap up around midnight-ish for panels, 1 in the morning, maybe 2 when they wrap up for adult-themed panels and such. And that's usually also even when the dances end and stuff like that. Dragon Con? That's like midday, almost. You know, maybe early evening, because the dances, and I've not actually officially been into one of the dance rooms. I wanted to. They're on my schedules, but I found I was doing other things. And this happens to be every con. I make a schedule, and it doesn't matter, because then life happens. But, like, even on Thursday night, I was just like, oh, sweet, all right. So, you know, I figured I'd go to bed probably 11, 12 o'clock and be ready for the next day. I met up with the guys at like 9:30, started drinking, got my tour, ended that at like 11 something, went back to the bar, got more drinks, I think. God, did I run into anyone that night? I almost have to go back and say, like, when did my pictures start? Because I don't think I had my main camera on me at the first part of it. But, like, that Thursday then, I'm going back through, I've taken a spiel of them from both my phone and mostly with my main camera. But I kind of, like, purposely did not bring the main camera with me yesterday evening. Let's see. Oh, wait. So, was that... Okay, I'm double-checking dates on this. I'm pretty sure this is still day 0. Okay, no, that... Oh, it was. Okay, wow. That did happen day 0. Okay.
It's smart of you not to bring your main camera with you all the time, because you want to actually do more... It's not a photography trip. It's a trip for geekery, right? So you don't want to just be doing...
But cosplay. So much good cosplay. For people who haven't seen the feed, I'll put it on the... Since I haven't put it on my computer to actually do with... But kind of leaning up. This is what fueled me the first night, which was a bucket of rum punch, essentially, to start the evening. That's what Damien bought me to say, like, welcome to Dragon Con. And I have to say, the people here are super nice. One, it's the South, but it's also that they're sitting there and they're like, oh, anyone I told this is my first Dragon Con, they were like, oh, you needed this. Oh, you needed that. Oh, here, let me take you here. Oh, have you seen this? They're super, super nice here. This is one of the most friendly conventions I've ever been to. And yet the most adult and the most debaucherous and the most amazing parties I've been to, like, ever. So, from there, and actually, yeah, this is a picture from the bar that day 0, just the amount of people that were around the bar area. And this is just the first hotel. It was packed. Absolutely packed inside and out for how many people were there in this massive hotel. I have a video of people just partying. There were people in costume that day. As I was walking around, I was hanging out with Damien and met some of his friends, a couple that are just called the Twins, these two gals that have been doing these things forever as well. And then, as I had made the decision, it was, in fact, I have a timestamp on this so I can even check. I had made the decision that it was time for me to leave. And so this is Friday morning, so Thursday night at 1:48 in the morning, okay? I said, I should go to bed. That way I can get ready for day 1 of the convention, get my badge, and do this. And so I go, and I know Hando, but he said there were photographers at the wedding, so I didn't do that wedding. But I did meet them both, which was nice. There's Gnomewise was helping to podcast to help cast a wedding of 2 podcasters at this convention. Or a ceremony between the 2, which is pretty cool. So I met both the well, they're already married, but the groom and bride for that. So at 2 in the morning, so this is shortly after, so between that 1:48 picture I took and the picture I took at 2 in the morning, so that 12-minute time frame, I was on my way out of this hotel I was in, the second hotel, the Marriott, head back to the Hyatt, I believe, as I was going to then walk, because I'm down the road many blocks and up these other blocks to my hotel room, probably a mile away from the main convention, up by the aquarium. Nice little hotel I'm at, but I was walking out and my mind kicked over that I saw someone. Now maybe it's just because cute blonde, but saw this gal kind of in the corner of my eye. I looked at her, I was like, do I know? Next thing I know, she comes sprinting at me, full speed, leaps into the air, grabs me around, and like swings partway around behind me. I almost grabbed her legs from the backside and flipped her back around to do a swing move, but I thought that might have been risky. Thankfully, I was basically sober, but, threw her around, I kind of caught her for a minute, sitting right there. I was like, oh, hello, Lily. How are you?
You're kidding me. Oh.
And so, Lily from the King of the Nerds show on TBS was there with the entire nerd group, or a big portion of them at the time, because they have a panel that they did yesterday here at Dragon Con.
Oh,
and
cool.
so Lily ran into me. She saw me there. She was with a couple of her friends. Another one of the gals from, season 2, I believe, Mary Kate. I forget if it's season 1, 2. I think that's season 2. Yeah, Mary Kate, who's a very amazing, lovely gal and such. But we just ended up with, the shenanigans. So she was dressed for Battlestar Galactica, Lily was. But she had jumped around me, and we chatted for a minute there, just like, oh, hey, how's it going? They obviously had been already partying quite a bit. If one thing I've learned, it is that the nerds know how to drink, for damn sure, and very well, mind you. And so I got invited into the fold, I will say, of the King of the Nerds cast, and because between MK and some of the guys that are there, all of the group, they just were very welcoming. And so when Lily found me, she kind of introduced, oh yeah, this is my friend from Denver. And some of them actually just looked at me like, well, who's this guy? But they were all super cool. I ended up hanging out with them the rest of the night, running around. And now, granted, I don't think I had any more drinks with them because they were already really well lit. And let's see, this picture that was still on the floor there. Okay, so that's the only pictures I had from that one. Was up to 2 something in the morning. I want to say I finally hiked back to my room somewhere around 3 something, 3:30ish, 3 in the morning. I got back to my room. One last photo I'm going to kind of hold up to the video stream, and I hope that I can get these out there for everyone to see. But this picture is looking up into the hotel.
Oh, that's cool.
And this thing is 29 stories or something like this, straight up in this huge open atrium. And the way people describe it is it's Hunger Games. And I don't know if that's because that's where it was filmed or whatever, but they were like, this place is very Hunger Games. Where is it? Because we were all laying on the floor to look up at it. And that's Lily, Mary Kate, and several of their friends. And we were just looking up at this massive thing, hanging out, chatting. Such a good time. Anyhow, so got finished, came stumbling all the way back down, up the hill, to my hotel. Gnomewise and I had yet to see each other. We were trying to, like, intertwine, like, get each other, like, somehow coordinate, but he had a couple friends that are casters from Florida that were up here that are also staying the night, 2 nights with us. And so he was with them, and they hadn't picked up their badges yet, and there were so many people that the hotels were limiting. You couldn't even come into the hotel unless you had a room key or a badge. And so they weren't able to come in and party with us at the bar where we were at. So they went on ahead to the room, and by the time I came in, they were already passed out. And so I kind of snuck into the room, had to get all cleaned up and such, and then kind of crawled into bed next to Gnomewise. You know, thankfully he let me be Big Spoon, which was nice, to pass out. But it was that comment of, like, just seeing lumps in the beds at 3-something in the morning, and then me passing out. I didn't wake up, and I don't think I've woken up any of these days before, like, 10, which is really late for me, especially at a convention.
Wow.
But it was 3 in the morning, right?
It's because you've been partying so much, though.
A bit. So I wake up, and by the time I finally got up, I kind of woke up a little bit as people were stirring in the morning, but when I finally was properly awake, I looked around, and everyone was gone. And so I was like, oh, I must have slept well. So I got it all cleaned up. I didn't do in costume or anything. I just went straight out to do convention stuff, picked up my badge, which was awesome because I was afraid from all the cons I've been in before with badge lines and how many people are supposed to be here, it would have taken me like hours before I could actually get my badge. This took like 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes. Hey, every convention out there, come look how Dragon Con does it, because holy cow, if everybody wasn't just in and already, all right, time to go to the convention. We're done. Got our badges. Like that. It was amazing. So picked up my badge and was kind of like stuck where I was like, well, now I have more time than I expected. Okay, what do I do next? So I decided to go find Gnomewise. And I ran into him back in one of the hotels where he was setting up all the tech behind it for the podcast room. Room 203 in the Hilton, I believe, is where all the podcast panels have been happening, and he has been the technician behind them, other than bigger rooms they did for some of the bigger podcasts. So the first one that was going on, as I walked in there, they're going to do a podcast panel, multiple people across it in the smaller room. But while there, I walked in the room, and there's a few people just kind of hanging out as I talked to Todd, and one of the people I looked over and saw, much to my happiness, was Miss Veronica Belmont. Which,
yes, I know of Veronica quite well through the Frog Pants Network, actually.
Which Todd is a, supporter of and does tech for. They stream through Alpha Geek Media, so there you go. She was there, as was Tom Merritt. And so Tom and Veronica were hanging out, and I got to meet and kind of shake hands and tell Veronica, thank you for what you've all done. I think you're brilliant, and you've done really good shows. And
that's cool.
Well, no, she is, right?
Oh, I need to go. 1 sec.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Sounds like something just crashed through a wall. I'm assuming that was a tank just destroying something in the background. So, hopefully, we will get Ken back here in a moment. Yikes. Well, shoot. Oh, sorry about that, Ken. Hopefully he will call us back here shortly, but he, wow, I'm going to be really curious what story he has from that. Anyhow, so yeah, I met Veronica Belmont, and the other thing, and this is really for the people on the video stream, so if you haven't been, hopefully you're watching, and hopefully the video stream's working. And again, I need to post all these somewhere so that I can link them all. But one of the things that also happened is Tom got delivered to him in the room a box. And it was a box straight from, I guess, Disney officially, but whoever it was, well, Sphero, essentially, because if people have heard, they've made this little toy. They're the first ones to come out with something the public could get for BB-88 from the new Star Wars movie coming up, which is the little droid that's on a ball that kind of rotates around and his head stays up. And people have watched the videos of the first release things. They will have seen that this is a real droid they've made, essentially a remote-controlled robot that they've been able to get up and actually move how it shows with the head staying on the top through magnetics and things like that, and the ball rolling. Well, Sphero, I believe is the name of the company, makes little toys that you can control remotely with a phone and the app that essentially rolls around much like that. It's just a ball that rolls around. So they partnered and made BB-88 as a toy that you can control with your smartphone. And we double-checked the price, pretty sure, because we had some Tom, Veronica, and I, and a few other people in the room were having conversations about how much it really costs, and everything I had read said $150, and I think Tom was really certain it was like $250 or $300. But I think we confirmed it was $150, but which is still a lot. But he opened up the box and had the little Sphero BB-88 toy in the box that he then set up in the corner, put on its little inductive charger, and let come alive. And this thing is adorable, I guess is one of the best ways to put it. It's a cute little toy. In fact, I think I have a video here of the little first sequence of it just sitting there. And it's kind of just on and just... You can see it just kind of looking around. It's just charging, hanging out, little lights pulsing, stuff like that. That's it just sitting on the desk. You could just have that thing sitting in your office or whatever, and it would be cute and neat just sitting there, right? Let alone having it, like, do what it's supposed to do. But that was neat, and it's funny because this was a new toy for everyone, and I had to be, it was so hard to like, nope, don't do it. Veronica was like crouched on the ground getting photos of the thing, and I got down there too, so I'm sitting right next to her like, Veronica's a beautiful woman, and like anything, she's bent over, her shirt starts like, I was like, no, and thankfully nothing inappropriate was shown, but it was just like, nope, must be the better man. Tom saved her and was like, careful, shirt, but no, everyone was like...
Anyway, on that note, FYI, I'm going to have to be away for 15 minutes or so. We have a crafting table full of paint and stuff for what we're doing, and the dog was lying underneath it, just as where his bed is at the moment, and the whole table collapsed. There's now paint all over my laminate flooring, the tins fell over, it's a horrible, horrible mess. I need to clean up as soon as possible or it's going to cost us thousands of pounds. So, BRB. Sorry.
Eventually. Nope, thank you, Ken. So yeah, the crash that everyone heard on stream there was a table collapsing full of paint. Oh no. So as Ken was showing us at the beginning of the show how they've been working on the back of the room getting things all nice and new, apparently that's now all over his laminate floors. That sucks, Ken. Good luck. Hopefully you get it cleaned up soon. The challenges of live shows. Anyhow, I will continue. So yes, got to play with the Sphero and be an arse myself, or look at arse? No, I don't know how to say that. Yeah. But it is the cutest thing. I think I have another video of it moving around and such, but as I said, Gnome was working the whole time, so I was just kind of like lingering around him. The nice thing was that from there, getting the cred where all the other casters in there who know Gnome were kind of like, oh, okay, this guy's got to be at least somewhat okay if Gnome vouches for him. So that was nice. From there, once the podcast was getting started, the room filled up. I took some photos to kind of show how big it was and how many people were there. And I decided I should probably egress, because as much as I could have stayed and watched podcasting panels, this is my first Dragon Con. I needed to explore, be free, a leaf on the wind, if you will, and just kind of get around and see everything I possibly could. So I ran, and from there... where did I end up next? Oh, so my friend Damien, his gal Mel, who I hadn't seen the night before because I think she'd turned in a bit earlier. We got up together, met up, and we're hanging out in room one of their friends for a little while. And then Mel had noticed outside, looked out the window and saw one of the space track things she was very curious to see. One of the things about Dragon Con that I've not seen at any other conventions is they've really organized the event in multiple, because of all the different locations, by the theme of what's in that area, which they call tracks. So they have a space track, they have an anime track, they have a sci-fi general, like, I don't know, specifically like a Star Wars or track and a Star Trek track or stuff, like how like specific they get. But regardless, as we were hanging out essentially for the space track, outside next to the pool and like tennis courts of this one area, they'd set up a tent. And what they had out there were several telescopes that were computer controlled tracking the sun. So these telescopes had filters on them to allow you to look specifically at the sun with your naked eye through the telescope to see it through various wavelengths, which I will tell you is cool as all get out in a nerdy science kind of way. It's something I'd never done before. You've seen pictures out there all the time of things that are like, here's video of the sun and solar flares and activity that are on it. That's cool and all, but being able to see it yourself, so amazing. And what they had it set up is they had the telescopes where you could just go up to them and look through the eyepiece and see it yourself. They also had, through a set of cameras that were doing the coordination of it, they had them streaming over to, in the tent, 3 video screens that you could just walk up and see that were much larger, easier to see. So it was nice to be able to see both the sun itself directly through the telescope, as well as on the screens where you kind of pay attention and look at it closely. And it's neat because the whole thing was on this computer-controlled gimbal. The 3 telescopes went like right on top of each other. And I do have photos of those on my main camera, so hopefully I will get those out to my Flickr account when I get home, and you'll be able to see them all. So check those out. My girl Mel is a big, huge science geek like this, and physics degree, math degree, all this stuff, so right up her alley. And I'm happy as heck she took me out there. It's blazing hot and outside, so there's still that. But I got to see the sun, and I got to see like little hooks of flares coming off it, things like that. Just cool. On top of that, she also, one of the things I had after talking to the guy who does it, he basically goes around to different schools to introduce to them all of these different things. I need to find the disc I got from him. In fact, I don't think I have a picture of it on my phone. Oh wait, I do. So it's solarastronomy.org was one of the things he said, was one of the groups it was part of, and he had a very specific one that's in memory of a gentleman he used to start it with that unfortunately passed away. But from there, they gave me the coolest toy I had the entire convention. I need to use it more, but like I said, I left it in my pants. Yeah, there's that. But it was a little disc, essentially, that had a little piece of plastic on it, but it was designed to filter light in such a way that it shows patterns kind of as a prism. And in doing so, it was really neat to just, because normally I would see something like this, and I would just be like, oh, yay, pretty colored stars, no big deal. But having the guy who was behind it explain it, and how it refracted the light so you could see the spectra from it, is he's like, you need to look at the difference between natural sunlight and the full range of radiation it provides. What? Ah! I ran out of time. Okay, so let me redo that, because I have now... I mistimed because I thought I was going to go further into dysfunctional deviations that I did not. And so let me fix that real quick and go like this. And I will have to reschedule each of those things that I just had on there. Gosh darn it. There we go. Those will come to you with the break, which will be here very shortly. Don't worry, I will still give you those same things. Alright, that is fixed. So, a little preview. But as I was going through and watching through the disc, and he's talking about the spectra, you can see natural light gives a full spectrum, while the lights we use inside, our artificial lights, have very specific and narrow fields they do, and you can actually see kind of the wavelengths of what specifically those use. So incandescent separate from fluorescent, and you can also see when that light reflects off of shiny surfaces, what wavelengths are being reflected there. And so you could take pictures that essentially provided these starry patterns of light around everything, and with them it was really neat to see like the difference in light. It was just something where I really geeked out over something as simple as just the spectra of light. And what was really neat is I could take these photos of the disc through my cell phone camera and get this and see exactly what my eyes were seeing, as well as I was able to do it with my SLR a little bit, although it didn't quite fit the same. But really cool thing, just a neat like toy to get in the middle of everything. That was a great time. Alright, so with that, I'm going to take a bit of extended break. I'm going to throw probably another song into the mix here, since my throat is feeling on edge. And I want to make sure I don't drop the entire show. Although, at the same time, depending on Ken's condition, we may cut it a little short. We shall see. And that might give me time to get out there and do a few other things. We'll see. Alright, so I'm going to play 2 songs for you. One of them, well, because she was just on... Actually, I should see if I have the other one on there, too. I don't know if I officially call the double clicks legal for me to play or not. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, I'll do a different con-based one. And we'll go with that. Alright, so I'm going to play 2 songs for the break. One from Miss Molly Lewis, because she's awesome in all things, because I got to see her in concert this weekend, as I'll talk after the break. And then a little bit of Discord from the Living Tombstones remix, because ponies. Alright, so with that, you've been listening to Show X, and I will be back after a little bit. Please send in emails, ask questions, get an IRC, and let me know what you would like to know more specifically. Alright, we'll be back right after this.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com.
The years are going by so fast, it really is bewildering. And we'll be so-called grown-ups and have mortgages and children. I hope we all gain worldliness and wisdom and maturity. But I hope most of all that MySpace falls into obscurity. I hope our profiles all go dead, entombed in distant servers. A monument to our youth, although lacking its observers. Your page will be an empty shell when no one is behind it. I hope your MySpace stays forever, and I hope that your kids find it. How I hope that you forget about your MySpace. I hope it slips completely from your mind, and I hope it stays up long enough for the next generation to find. And I hope that it embarrasses your children. Hope their bratty friends will forward it around. And I hope that you forget your password so you cannot take it down. Your kids think you're vaguely square, it will be so much clearer when they laugh at the pictures you took in your bathroom mirror. They will not know your favorite band or any of the others. Who is this Soulja Boy you reference? Who's the Jonas Brothers? They'll marvel at how old you are, they'll raffle at your outfits. Your style may pass as vintage in the future, though I doubt it. How I hope that you forget about your MySpace. I hope it slips completely from your mind, and I hope it stays up long enough for the next generation to find. And I hope that it embarrasses your children. Hope their bratty friends will forward it around. And I hope that you forget your password so you cannot take it down. I hope your cynical kids say, "Holy crap, this is great." These comments date all the way back to 2008. I hope they dig through your pictures and find some we might call compromising. I hope seeing their mom in a swimsuit or smoking a hookah isn't too traumatizing. But it will be past their comprehension. They'll ask, did Grandpa not give you enough attention? Tom, that guy knows everyone. Hope that you forget about your MySpace. I hope it slips completely from your mind, and I hope it stays up long enough for the next generation to find. And I hope that it will humble you forever, and I hope your kids don't let you live it down. And I hope that you forget your password so you cannot take it down. They might go through your top 8 friends, read your comments at the most. I only wish that they could see the inane bulletins you post.
I'm not a fan of puppeteers, but I have a nagging fear someone else is pulling out the strings. Something terrible is going down through the entire town, wreaking anarchy and all it brings. I can't sit idly, no, I can't move at all. I curse the name, the one behind it all. Discord, I'm howling out the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we do to make you take our world away? Discord, are we a prey alone, or are we just a stepping stone for taking back the throne? Discord, we won't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away. middle of a summer afternoon. Discard, whatever did we do to make you take our world away? Discard, are we a prey alone? Or are we just a stepping stone for taking back the throne? Discard, we won't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away.
You're listening to Show X on btwproductions.com.
Are you kidding? No. Copy's always with us, right? So, you know, every time I do a drop-in for the show, she's with us. Anyhow, so I am back, and I am slowly transitioning myself to book as I had to, like, wet the hair, pull it back a little tighter, get ready to start adding the gray and stuff. I realize how excited I am to want to get out there and start showing off my cosplay, because I haven't seen another book out there, and I've seen a lot of Firefly cosplays. So don't be surprised if I lose my patience in like a half hour. I'm like, and we're done! Because I'm probably not going to get news today. It's probably just going to be me talking about Dragon Con and then saying, alright, I got more I got to do. So, and I can't get into all the stories, but that's okay. There's still so much. So, after the space thing, what else do I want to talk about specifically, what I've seen? Alright, so, first thing, where are people today? There's a reason that you don't see a copy on, and probably a few other people's, because this is not the only convention going on right now. I had to give up going to NundesCon NDK back in Colorado to come out here for Dragon Con. Same weekend, they keep conflicting, sucks. Just like when it happened to me with DCC and Enemy North. This weekend is also Fan Fest, I believe is what it's called, out in Toronto, which is where Miss Cuppy is right now. That's why she's not on, that's why Fork's not here, she's at NDK, Kuro's at NDK, Tom's at NDK, or maybe not, Tom might not be at NDK this year, but I mean that's essentially where everybody is, so that's why the IRC and the live listenership might be a little light. People are running around having good times. It's a long weekend, I don't blame them. I know, I've been having a ball. Alright, so I talked about space and what was cool about that. I will get into some generalizations because I have to admit I'm getting a little excited and want to go play again. I got to party a lot with the King of the Nerds cast. Those guys are all amazing. I know some of them might have seen me be a little standoffish, not knowing me directly and such like that, but really they're welcoming, and MK has done a great job hosting. She's awesome, opening up a room to everybody. Met some amazing people. In fact, one of the people I want to specifically bring up is a gentleman named Bean, because Bean, unbeknownst to me, as we were talking about stuff, I mentioned that I do a little podcast and stuff like that. Is that, wait, Cricket's here. What do you mean, Earth? Is there something going on with that? Or, I am casting, right? Yeah. But, is that Bean, when I talked about stuff, no, they're not with me at Dragon Con, they're out there at NDK. And so they're at the other convention, the one I left to go do. But Agrius SW is here, so there's that! And hopefully he'll send an email in for me to get to. But, which I should check to see if anyone has sent emails. No, they haven't. Alright, continuing. Since Ken has left us, since he has to sort out his house. But beyond, like I say, cost me all that. With the nerds, their panel was awesome. The group is amazing. Like I said, Bean, I met there, talking to their friends, friends of friends kind of thing. But meeting Bean, when we were chatting last night, I want to say partying, we got to talking, and I mentioned the podcast. He's like, oh, really? What podcast do you do? I was like, oh, Show X, da-da-da, on VTW Productions. I was like, wait, VTW? Isn't that the one where Gnomewise was part of for a while? I was like, well, yeah, before he did Alpha Geek Radio, yeah, he was with us. And it's like, oh, yeah, I know VTW Productions. I was like, excuse me? How do you know VTW? And I was just like, yeah, I've been listening to them for all this time, and I listen to Gnomewise. I know Gnomewise. I was hanging out with them earlier. We went and got pictures with Total Biscuit. And I was like, wait, what? And so I was like, yeah, I'm Doc Dead. I do Show X, and I was part of, Octil and Hordak versus the World back in the day. And he was like, oh, wow, I love you guys, da-da-da. And so it was so weird, because I haven't run into anyone randomly at a convention for so many years that actually knows who we are, just who isn't a regular everyday fan, right? And so running into Bean was just amazing. It was so much fun to kind of like, you were there through like all of the history, right? All of you, of course, Hando, Earth, Agris SW, Copy, everyone else that has been around, Leo, everyone that's been there, same thing, very much appreciative. But just to like randomly run into a guy at someone else's party, friends of friends that knew me through the interwebs, was kind of exciting. I have to admit, I was kind of like, what? Oh, that's awesome. So we chatted a bit. We're comparing pictures and stuff, and like his picture with TV and stuff. I was just like, yeah, I know John. Yeah. It was so cool. Also, for anyone who hopefully went out and watched all of the King of the Nerds episodes, and so they know kind of who I was running around with, because it was, Todd the Bod, Brandon, Colby, was it Corey? I need to look it up again, because the other seasons kind of stuff, because I know Lily's cast the best from season 3, since that's the one I watched the most. All of them cool people, and they're all so damn smart. One of the neat things, it's one of these, people geek out and we run around together and this and that. I have so many pictures of us hanging out and chats from us hanging out in the room together, in MK's room, drinking and sharing stories, where I'm realizing everyone in this room is a freaking genius. These are all engineers. These are all like more than one of them working around NASA and doing stuff, right? Legitimately smart nerds that also know how to party and hang out and have fun. And that was so cool. It was so neat to be part of just this intellectually diverse and like such a strong intellectual group, to have conversations where I could speak at a level that I don't get to every day, where it's just people just sharing stories like, what? You're working on this system that works on whatever, and oh, you totally understand this aspect of this program thing. Oh, and you code like this all day long. And I was hanging out with 2 of the winners from King of the Nerds, and one from, oh gosh, is it John from the UK, I want to say? I have to double check, again, names. I should reference it as I'm looking through. Actually, that would make a lot of sense. Where are you, interwebs? Save me. Save me, the Wikipedia of all knowledge. Because you could tell me all the answers. Yeah, and I also hate to say it, or I don't want to sound like I brag or da-da-da, but it's just an experience I got to do, which was so damn cool. Where are you? So, yeah, was it Brandon? Yeah, yep, Brandon Moore, who's a neuroscientist, who was dressed, he had his Q cosplay on, which is actually really good, as he was running around. And then John, I want to say, is the one who won it all, and so he was really cool, right? John, risk out, win. Oh, okay, that's interesting how they have the breakout on here. No, okay, get to Season 2! Because, okay, Mary Kate's here, and got to meet and hang out with Mary Kate a lot. Katie is here, right? Yep, Katie's here. She's awesome. Chris Jackson's here. Awesome. That's the one that's Chris A. Which he does not like, because that's an entirely different person. Let's see. Is it... No, it wasn't Josh that's here. Who else? And then Season 3, I know, let's see. Heather's here. Kobe's here. Lily's here. Todd's here. Rochelle's here. Rochelle's awesome also. Lovely gal. Super fun. So much fun running around with her. And again, so accepting. Just cool group. And if you have an opportunity to follow any of these guys, to support them, you absolutely should, because they're all epic. Just as cool in person as you'd want. Super accessible. I don't think they go as far as they should with talking about like how neat they really are. They're so cool. Okay.
Well, I for one can always say how awesome Lily is, so I can definitely vouch for that anyway.
Hey, look who's back and alive. Are things okay and sorted, or?
I now just have a wet floor rather than a newly painted floor, which is good. We had a bench set up for all the crafting we're doing right now, which was covered in tins of paint. Thankfully, yesterday I took the big pot of glue used for the wallpaper off.
Oh, God.
This giant amount of glue. Oh, I'm so glad I picked it up yesterday and moved it, just randomly as well, because I wanted to move something else around. That's all it was. Such a minor thing, but it saved me so much effort. Thankfully, only 1 out of 7 tins of paint actually exploded everywhere, and it was only emulsion, so I managed to clean up just some water. So no problem.
That's good.
The dog was a little bit scared. He decided to add to the whole incident event. He couldn't possibly leave it just as a mess as it was. So he added a few dribbles of his own, but otherwise it's okay.
That
It's all
sucks.
fine now. All fine now. No, it's fine. It's fine. We lost a tin of paint, but it's okay. Thankfully, hey, nothing's stained. All that really got broken was the table, and that's it. So it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
That's
So I'm
good to know. But as I was saying, yes, I was hanging out with all of the nerds. They're amazing. Got to, I guess, is it Curtis, I think? Or who was it that's here? Because I talked to him for a minute, but again, drunken and names. But trying to remember who the winner from the UK is. Because have you seen King of the Nerds UK?
I've not actually. I didn't even know that existed, to be honest.
Well, so it's funny. Apparently, this one's on Sky One. So it's not.
I don't pay for TV. You see.
Well, but so it's not a proper BBC channel. You know, it's Sky One. And so he said their budget, the big difference, one of the questions at the panel was like, what's the big difference between UK and America? It's like, yeah, our budget is like 15 quid. And so it's like, we basically have nothing. And the joke was that, you know, in the end, he won £15,000, where here in the US you win $100,000. Now, granted, he didn't have to pay taxes on his, and the pound is a bit stronger. But still, they kind of jokingly said, like, their stuff was just so much lower production value. But still, it's very entertaining hanging out with them and chatting with them. And at some point, they all said they would be very happy to come on our show. So at some point, I'm hoping to have a whole round table of nerds hanging out with us. And so, if nothing else, because both Heather and Lily are local to me in Denver, have them on, as well as... possibly getting a few of the others as they travel around or via the interwebs. So that would be a lot of fun. But those guys they party great. They're intelligent. Such a great experience. So, all right. I will try to stop gushing about the nerds, but I really, really, really have enjoyed hanging out with them.
That's good.
Other things beyond just that is, so tons of pictures of costumes I've taken. I was trying to, have my camera with me as well as a reference to kind of going through what all I've seen since I was there. Like the first costume I took a picture of was a gal in a Maka cosplay, just walking down the street, and then girl in Chitara. Let's see, a bunch of cosplay pictures, the solar astronomy stuff, so many photos, Clockwork Orange, just stuff out there. Oh, so things I've done that were actually cool. I'm feeling a little bit like I might be stalkerish about this, but I went and saw the Double Clicks and Molly Lewis. And because we love Molly Lewis, she's been on the show twice. Hell, she pretty much hosted our last one that she was on. And she's super, they're all very entertaining. So I went they had a little Q&A panel is what it was called, but they really said we don't really answer questions, so we're just going to answer them with songs. And so they just played a set, essentially, a little quick set in this little room. Very intimate, maybe 25, 30 people in the room. And I was being an artist because I was kind of walking around ahead of time. I've seen him multiple times. I finally shook hands with Molly, just being like, thank you very much, Wayne from Show X, for being on our show a couple of times. And she was like, is anyone else here from BTW? I was like, no, Ken's still in Scotland, sorry. She apparently really wanted to meet you. She really wanted to meet you, Ken. So,
that's nice. I'm glad to hear it.
Shook her hand. She remembered exactly who we were and such. I was like, that's so cool. To the point where, like, I sat in the very front row, like 3 feet from where they were playing, kind of thing, where most people are like at least a row back. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna sit right up front. And I'm terrible because I rock their albums on my iPod all the time, and so they'll come up and I've heard them enough times. I know most of the lyrics. So while they were playing, I'm sitting here like just bouncing around on my seat and basically mouthing along and singing all the choruses, probably too loud, like in their faces. And it's bad because I was just being very happy, and so Molly was up there kind of having just to talk to the audience through the microphone, just saying, oh, hey, Molly, da-da-da, kind of jokingly. I was responding because I was like, well, yeah, I want to hear that, yeah. And she's like, Wayne, you don't have to answer everything I say. I was like...
That's funny, though. That's
funny. I was like, okay, I'll be quiet now. I'm sorry. Apparently, I was probably distracting her a bit because I was just so like...
Yeah.
And so
she's trying to talk to the whole audience, and instead she's like, God damn it, Wade, we're not on the show.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So bad. And so I did that, but watched them twice. Well, watched Molly Lewis once. That was specifically why I went to that one, was because she was on the bill to play with the Double Clicks. And the Double Clicks the second time, because they had one of the shows they did was really neat, is they had a venue that was basically just an open area of one of the parts of the con floor. one of the hotels where it wasn't the main one, but like down below. And they had it opened up, and they just had a stage set up in lines where you could just sit on the rug. And they played right open, and the sound was great. And they just, playing it right there. I was like, this is awesome. So got that, got to see those two things. Got to pick up the Double Click's new album. Which one is it? It's Snake for President, or President Snakes? President Snakes, I think. I have to look at the front of it. Of course, had them sign everything because they're right there. In fact, I made the lament when I was like, I didn't bring a Sharpie. And then they both, Molly Lewis and the Double Clicks, I think it was Angela at the time, both brought out like bags of Sharpies. Like, oh, we got this covered. Boom. And Molly had this like rainbow of every color Sharpie you could ever hope to have. But essentially, I had them sign my little limited edition shirt I'd gotten from the actual Kickstarter or the previous album that I'd done off Dimetrodon. And had them sign themselves on that, and sign the albums I had purchased there and stuff. So I was just like, super happy. I've got Molly's physical copy of her disc, even though I'd already bought it digitally. And it was great to talk to her just that minute. I need to get them all back on because they have new albums out, and Molly just finished up writing a musical. And so, like a Christmas versus Thanksgiving musical, I guess it is. And so she's hoping to get back started on writing full albums again because a lot of the songs she played were stuff that she hasn't released on album and were so good. It was just really, really good music. And so I'm looking forward to all the new stuff coming. I have all these little teasers of information you get from hearing around people and stuff. Things that I can't mention and things that I just kind of heard little tidbits of. That's just, And so there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to now because of it. But their concert was great, and like I said, I might have been a little too close and excited for them.
Oh, don't worry about yourself in such silly ways. You enjoyed it, and they seem to enjoy it as well. So
yeah, like I said,
I'm very, very jealous, by the way.
So I'm using my short lens, and I was like, again, that close to Molly. Where
that's awesome.
I've got my 18 to 35 millimeter lens on, so it's not like I'm, I was right there.
That's awesome.
And she is so cute. Yeah, they all are.
Yeah, she's great, yeah.
And I purposely took a picture of her with her uke in her case as well as the stickers that she had all over the case because that was really neat.
Yeah.
Ton of good cosplay, super talented people with that. Thankfully, I got hopefully some good photos. Some people gave me cards and wanted me to pass them on. I had a lot of moments where, because that day I wasn't in a costume, I was just doing it kind of on the slide, just like, let me just walk around and see what the convention's about. I was missing it, though, because I saw so many characters from the costumes I was going to do. Like, I saw several beautifully done Bulmas and such.
Really?
Yes! Gorgeous Bulmas. I mean, they fit the part. Where I was like, I wish I was in my Mr. Satan cosplay right now. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and seeing a ton of Kayleys and Janes and Captain Mals and stuff like that from Firefly, where I'm like, I wish I was in all my costumes right now. And today, actually, as the show was starting, there was a meetup to do a Dragon Ball Z shoot for all the people in costumes. Because I did see a really good Nappa. I saw there was a whole group yesterday when I was in my costume of Gokus. That towards the end of the night they were just hanging out below one of the escalators. And every time a new group would come up to them, and when they saw me initially, they were just like, Goku's a symbol! And all of them would rush together into this big crowd to take photos together with whomever was in the middle, just this whole group of Gokus, which was hilarious. And every stage and imagined version of Goku you could want to see. A couple of Vegetas. Stuff at one point, a Master Roshi comes out, everyone's like, Roshi! And pull them in, it's like, pictures, blah, blah, and then... There was a whole group of Squirtles, basically people in big costumes of Squirtles.
Yeah.
But they were looking great off the course, so they pulled them all in and had this big photo shoot done. And there were a bunch of Ninja Turtles and cast that were dressed as Ghostbusters.
That's cool.
Which was because they even had I want to say it wasn't Rocksteady, but the other one, Bebop. And they also had Casey Jones and stuff, so they had this massive thing all in Ghostbusters outfits and things like that, but then the Turtles. That was really good. There's so many bends and costumes, it's just too much. Too much! Can't keep up. So it's partly why I'm really excited today to get my book on. And I'm hoping there's a food court that says it has a market that I'm really hoping I can get to right away, because I need to find some strawberries. So I can complete my costume, and because that always freaks people out when I have the strawberries. So I want to do that. God, so many costumes. And such a good diversity of people. I haven't seen this much diversity in kind of people and what they're costuming since Anime North, honestly. I still give Anime North props for having the highest density of people in costume. But people out here are so legit with their costumes. It's just good. The city's gorgeous. Walking around's been easy, even though it's a bit of distance. The only thing I wish is there was no humidity, because then that'd be great. And I'm a little afraid to go outside today in a long sleeve shirt. But I'm sure I will survive. There's just
I don't know how you stand that kind of stuff, man. Humidity's just not a thing here. It's either wet or just wet. It's not humid. It's just wet.
Here's one of the is it? Wait,
lovely black screen there, Wayne.
Yeah, where did it go? So I don't know if it'll focus. Do you recognize who that is?
Oh yeah, we can see that fine. No, I don't recognize him at all. I can see it fine, I just don't recognize him.
Yep, it's a sir that might have made the basis of most fantasy games on the PC. He made Britannia and basically every Ultima game.
I've never played any of those games.
Oh, how do you not know who Lord British is?
Still not ringing a bell.
Ah, shucks. Richard Garriott, who made all of the Ultima games. He was just hanging out there, like, waiting for an elevator. I was like, Lord British, could I get a photo? He's like, oh yeah, and just looking chill and dapper as all get out. I was like, that's awesome. Oh, I got to geek out to photography with one of the nerds. I have to, like, clear what photos I'm allowed to post and not.
Dangerous.
Well, nothing, like, discriminating, although it's just drunken shenanigans. Great DJ Sona that had a full working DJ booth.
Oh, that's so cool.
Lighting up on the panel and everything. Yeah, just
that's awesome.
I cannot go enough of how many good costumes and stuff there have been here from everything you could imagine. Oh, one of the best, a female version of Joe from the new Mad Max. Female Joe. And her costume was just amazing and is amplified and
that's cool. That's so cool.
So I could go through these things all night, and that's not going to be fun for anyone who's listening, so I will try to minimize it. What other good stories do I have from that, of things I saw? I got to see part of the Sword and Laser podcast being streamed live, that, again, Gnome was helping out with, and I have a really good picture of Tom and Veronica for that, where they're just sitting up front before anyone else came in, where I was like, hey, can I get a shot? A lot of shots from the King of Nerds panel. That was a ton of fun. There were a lot of just great stories off of that that they told us. While I was in costume, I got the kind of reception I had wanted, which I always do. Not everyone recognized me, and it's funny, maybe it's because I'm in the South, but more people that randomly didn't know who I was basically said that the character they saw me as with my hair out when I was as Mr. Satan, they kept saying, Shonuff? Are you Shonuff? I was like, oh man. So it made sense. You could look it up as a reference to see why people would say that, and I got it, but it took me a minute as when I kept hearing it, like I wasn't sure they were saying it as a name so much as they were saying it just to be like, oh, Shonuff.
Yep, I see the picture. I guess, but you're probably wearing the right clothes for him though.
Well, I was wearing a gi, right? I was wearing Mr. Satan's maroon gi. But that's just what they would come up with. And welcome, Tom Bad Guy. Good to see you on. And so I was like, well, no. And then the people who did get it, of course, were like, oh, Hercule, what's going on? You know, Mr. Satan. At one time did I have a group of guys going, oh, well, however they say it. They were doing the Satan call, but it was basically the Japanese kind of where they're doing like, Satan-san, 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 Satan-san. You know, kind of going on and on. Cool. I was just like, yeah. Which is also why I wasn't sure if my voice would hold up today, because whenever I do Mr. Satan, I am very much just like, yeah, how's it going, everybody? What's up? That's right, the champ. That's who's here. And I really do love and get into that character. I gotta say, my Mr. Satan is my extrovert character that I do, because I'm just everywhere, and I walk around all pumped up like, yeah, make big eyebrow motions and stuff like that, and everyone's just like, whoa, this guy. Because I'd pose every time, I'd be like, and as soon as I do the face, they were just kind of like, oh, whoa, that's perfect. So.
Oh, nice.
And and we'll see. I have hope. I have hope. Because there's only... I ran into one other Mr. Satan there towards the end of this morning, and when I was finished it, stumbling home at 4:30. And so I had a little dance competition, not competition, but dance with another Mr. Satan, so very meta, I guess. But anyhow, at one point I was walking on the street after getting some food, and a gentleman asked for pictures. I was like, oh yeah, sure, and just kind of gave a quick one, boom, and it's like, oh, and he kind of said, hey, just so you know, this may or may not end up on the Funimation front page. At which point I looked at him again, he's wearing a Funimation shirt and a Funimation lanyard. And I was like, oh, wait a second, then let me give you a better pose. And then the double like, yeah! Kind of double V pose for him. And
yeah,
so
that's cool.
I have hopes that a picture of me may show up on like their Facebook feed or something like that from the convention. Because Dragon Con is one of the biggest damn conventions out there. And it is possible. So if that does show up on their feed or something, I'm going to be tickled pink happy about it because I like my Mr. Satan. And I did have at least one guy when I was going into the dealer room kind of give me shit and say like, yeah, because you actually look like Mr. Satan or something. And I just gave him the voice like, what? Of course I'm Mr. Satan. Who else would I be? And he kind of stopped and was like, oh no, it's you. Never mind. Like caught him off guard.
I was going to say, I hate people who are so snobbish with like cosplay like that when some people are. I've heard stories of people who are just like, oh, well, in Season 7, Episode 3, you'll find that Captain S is in fact wearing this on his left ear, not on his right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
No, that does happen. It does come up. But no, he was just giving me crap because he recognized the character right away to be able to say that, where he wasn't one of the ones saying, like, who are you? And I did have a few people where they're surprised because I'd be walking through the sky bridges between hotels where it's really packed, and someone coming the other way would be like, hair kill! Or something like that. To be like, yeah, fan! How's it going? You know who it is. And then I had that happen to me like 3-4 times going on the same walk down the hall. And a guy behind me was like, oh my, okay, wait, who are you? Because he was just like, he was so surprised with how exuberant people were when they saw the costume.
Yeah. But how many people actually noticed it, yeah.
Exactly, so he was just like, I gotta ask, what are you from? This and that. And so I told them, and they're just like, oh, whoa, okay, I got you, da-da-da, right? And so that was really entertaining, just to see how other people would react to how people reacted to me. And it happened even when I was taking pictures of other people or something like that, just like, and then someone would come up and be like, oh my god, Mr. Satan, I've got to get a photo. And the people I'd be taking pictures of were like, wait, who is he? And so if you can see where it kind of like, why don't I know? Right? And they felt left out in a way because, again, when people saw my costume and got it, they got so excited. Because they're like, oh, I haven't seen any, or I've only seen like one other one, and yours is really... People tell me mine's really good, so I'd like to believe I did a good job with it. I tried. And it's actually funny, when I talked to the other Mr. Satan, we were swapping stories the whole time about like, oh, how'd you get your gi this color? Did you have to buy it white and dye? It's like, oh yeah, dye. Oh, and dyeing it with da-da-da, and we're just like back and forth on how it went to actually make our costumes. Uh-oh. Background music change tells me I've been rambling. But that's okay.
Oh, jeez, look at the time. Oh, man.
Well, it's funny because I was like, I realized I wasn't going to actually get into any Geekoscope today.
No, I know we're not going to.
Pretty much geek cred.
I do have another couple of stories, though. I did remember, by the way.
All right, I will give my...
At some point.
Well, okay, so Mr. Satan, blah, blah, blah. That was, like I said, just a blast going through, running around as that all day.
Oh, it sounds like incredible fun.
Well, and the problem is, it's just so packed. So many people. And even in the geek...
It was Dragon Con, not PAX. Jeez.
Well, it's funny, too, because I think, what was it, Double Clicks or something said they were at PAX the week before kind of thing. And so, like, driving around, I was kind of like, I wish I had been out there. Yeah. Then it would have been really bad, because I almost could see myself following them around to one or two conventions, at which point they would probably bar me from going. They'd be like, you need to stop. Because they'd be like, now you're creepy. It's like, but you're so much fun. Oh well. Other things. I got to run into... No, I got to run into also like Ginny from Geekyarchy. She's out here this weekend. The one that does Arya Stark, who's the doppelganger for Arya, is so amazing cosplay. Saw her and her man yesterday running around, and a couple of their friends. You know, I've been trying to connect with them all weekend, but I was always busy doing something or partying with someone. And honestly, once the lights go down here, it's party central. And the other big thing that this convention, compared to any other I've been to, they realize they're an adult convention and embrace it. They will let you wear basically anything or nothing, pretty much. I mean, there were several costumes that were pretty much a pasty or two.
That's cool.
And people wearing it very well. There were guys running around in
the way I see it is if you're
a sock. You know, I mean, pretty much, right?
A group of adults. There's a group of adults. They're welcome to go where they want. I mean, it's all adults, so it's fine. That's great.
It's all everything, but it's kind of the idea is you're not supposed to bring out the crazy costumes until like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
That's
and
fair,
that's basically what happens. You know, don't go running down the street in some of your costumes because there may be decency laws outside of the convention.
Sure.
But for the most part, that was really cool. But equally, it's their consumption rules where it's about like how much alcohol and how you can. It's open. I mean, just short. You're not allowed to do, which I kind of did, just have a bottle sit next to you and just drink it. But people who were beers constantly. Beers were no big deal for the most part, and people made a ton. Everyone had a Coke bottle that was like, that's not Coke. It's like, I know. And so it's like everybody
That's strange to me
is
because
drunk.
here, anything you do here, like they will not. Speaking as a barman and being a person who drinks around everywhere all the time, you never get stopped unless you're at a point where you can barely order. Like if you're smashing stuff or you yourself are falling over, like literally falling into things, you won't get served. But otherwise, there's not like, oh, you've had 3, time to stop. That will never happen here.
Ours isn't that. It's you're not supposed to open carry in most cities, like a drink outside or around.
Yeah.
So as you're walking around the lobbies and between hotels. Because there's a lot of traveling between hotels. Almost everybody has some container that they mix their drinks into. I mean, there were people walking around with entire, like, 2-liter type containers for, like, whatever kind of a juice or something. That you could just smell it where you're like, nope. And, again, people are super nice here. Almost too much so, where they're happy to share. I had drinks from many a flask this weekend, which is kind of the rule. Is like, you shouldn't necessarily drink things from people you don't know. I may have broken that rule a couple times. Don't know if I got roofied or not yet, but it was like...
Oh, you would know. You would know.
But it was one of those things where...
Wake up with a burning feeling in your left side, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's something where it's just like, oh, shoot, why not? You're a nice guy, let's go. And having swigs off of flasks and just, so much drinking, and it makes me happy. Maybe I'm just that childish or something, but... One of the problems I've had with all the Denver conventions is they are so prissy about things like that. They let you have some fun, but they don't really let you just cut loose and be an adult. And so they're very no alcohol consumption to a minimum. They only sell a little bit there. Here, everywhere you turn here, there's somewhere to buy alcohol. Everywhere, buckets of rum punch and stuff like that. Like every floor of every hotel lobby of every area where any groupings are, there's multiple places to get alcohol, and everybody is. Again, the costuming rules means that you see some amazing, hot, awesome costumes everywhere. People are able to do their part to honestly capture characters that, people try to argue that's not a real body type. I will tell you, those are real body types. Goddamn. They exist. Unmodified. And I'm appreciative. So...
Yep.
Oh, it was just, So I am in the middle of this chaos of fun, or I guess it would be like a cornucopia of fun that is geekdom that I highly recommend Dragon Con to everyone. Give yourself a week, because I'm a little overwhelmed that today's Sunday, right? I'm usually at any of my conventions, this is the last day, and you might have a little bit going. No, there's still tomorrow. All day tomorrow. And it's like...
And probably all night tomorrow night.
Yes! Well, all night tomorrow night. People will not stop this. In fact, one of the things I didn't mention is I got there on Thursday and it was already in full swing. People got there on Wednesday. It was already in full swing. There were already people in costume Wednesday, day -1, partying for this convention. And so they've said eventually they're just going to have to open this up to an entire week of partying. It's freaking awesome. Yes, I saw Zero Suit Samus. There were several Zero Suit Samuses that looked amazing. I saw guys in Gundam costumes that looked amazing. I saw Oh gosh, I'm trying to think some of the ones you would really appreciate, Ken. They're just most costumes were really well done, or really well done, and there's some really big ones that have been out here where it's just like, yep, that's good. You know, big full life-size Groots, stuff like that.
That's cool.
A lot of people doing parenting right, where they have their kids in one outfit with them and others and such, where they're just all part of the same like thing. I saw a really fun one where it was a Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson, but done up as Han Solo and Princess Leia.
Okay, that's cool.
So yellow face, but Marge's like blue buns and such,
That's
and
cool.
Homer with the, you know, his not having hair but having the full outfit and stuff, being Homer Simpson, big head stuff, like hey, and it's just like, okay, that's really cool. There's just like almost too much to really capture or be a part of. Oh, it's so much fun. And I need to get back to it.
Don't worry, you've only got a little time left. Before you are back into the chaos.
I'm gonna take a break from talking, Ken, and let you do stories so that
okay.
I don't exhaust
these are not geeky, guys. I'm afraid. I think Wayne's filled the quota anyway for this show and last and next. Right. So a couple little things. One, actually, this is kind of geeky. This one. So you know how Kitten's away in Geneva and she's having her bit of time away till Tuesday. Well, normally that'd be like, oh, I've got some free time at home, I can game a bit more, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. Nope, because she broke my keyboard.
What? Wait,
She left a glass of water on the one desk we have next to the sofa, next to my keyboard, and a tank's tail whipped it all over the keyboard, and it's not been working for the past few days. We tried drying it out, we tried using a hairdryer, the lights still go up, but there's absolutely no connectivity, and I've noticed at the corner of my eye, when I look away from the lit up keyboard, the hertz, the refresh rate is weird on the lights because I can suddenly notice it. So I knew at that point there was something.
It's been shorted. Yeah, it's been shorted to some degree.
So I just, considering it was sitting on their crafting table actually, and it got some paint on it. That was the last straw. I've given up and put it in the bin. So I've got a backup keyboard here, which is not a nice keyboard.
Are you kidding? It's got the WASD all like painted a different color.
Yeah, but it's also got the arrow keys, which is unnecessary.
Come on, you could go play some original Doom like that.
And there's no lights on it. How am I supposed to see it at night time? Oh man. So I'm pretty annoyed with that. That's like an £80 keyboard down the drain or whatever. So I'm pretty pissed with that. But
ouch.
Yeah, but whatever. Stuff happens, and then you die. Speaking of things getting short-circuited and stuff, we've been having some problems at work this week. We've been having all the bad luck. So our ice machine stopped working, so we had to go to the pub down the road and steal their ice every few hours. We ran out of change that last night, so I had to run to 5 different pubs trying to collect change in exchange for notes. Most of them said no, because most pubs pay for their change and they're not willing to do that for free, obviously. Understandable. One of our kegs exploded in the back. Not literally, it was like part of the piping exploded, but it was flooded. So we lost a whole keg of cider, which was really annoying. That was in the middle of Saturday night when we're most busy, and there was only 2 of us on. So it was me and like 50 customers trying to deal with them all, while the girls in the back trying to clean it up and fix it.
Oh jeez.
So that was fun. Our post mix, you know how you have the little squishy thing for Coke and lemonade bars?
Yep.
That stopped working, so we had to use like bottles of Coke.
Oh jeez.
Bottles of Coke to try, like, you don't have time for that. So we had no ice, no squishy draft sodas. Our dish machine stopped working today. Our dishwasher. So we started doing all our glasses by hand. Our receipt printer stopped working, so I had to write out all the orders. I was doing everything like 15th
Stone Age
century style.
Yes.
Yeah, it was horrible. It just took like one simple job of getting somebody a drink suddenly became such a chore. But we managed to get through it. But the final thing I said about the dishwasher there, you know how we found out it wasn't working?
After trying to wash it?
Actually, I bet it's still working. The problem is that when I put it was at the end of the night. We'd finished, thankfully, last night. And what you do is you pull out the plug inside the dishwasher, right, to empty it out, so you can clean it overnight, refill it and stuff. So I go to pull it out, and I go, oh, that was weird. I think I just got a shock from that. Oh, I'll try again. Oh, Jesus! Oh, God, my God, that's definitely got current. So, and then my manager, she actually tried it first and asked me to try it. So we both got shocked twice. A full live current, not just going through the metal exterior of the box, but the water itself, where we're trying to drain it from.
Yep.
So I pulled out of the
and
wall.
you guys run 220 to everything, right? Or 240 or something like that?
No. We've got mixed. We've got fuses and stuff. We have earth wires here as well. Remember, which you do not have as a standard over there. Ours is much safer. That's why we have the 3 prongs rather than the 2. So that when there's a problem, it goes to earth.
We have 3 prongs all over the place.
All over the place? Really?
Yeah. Yes. My laptop's plugged in 3-prong, and every outlet here is 3-prong. All the stuff in the walls... No, everything in the walls we have is earth.
Okay, because I know that whenever I see your equipment, it's usually got the 2-prong.
Well, a lot of the equipment only does 2, but the actual outlets themselves are 3.
Oh, that's good at least. But still, yeah, all of our equipment also has a fuse and an earth wire as well. So it means that you should never get shocked. So the fact that I'm assuming all of these different incidents are all linked together, by the way. The cash machine, the printer, the dishwasher, and the fact that people have been getting shocks with the music in the back cupboard. I think it's all linked to do with some sort of strange surges going through. But regardless, yeah, I got shocked a couple times last night. That wasn't very fun. But on the bright side, I had a guy who apparently is from the local mafia drop by. And
okay.
Because I helped him with his choice of malts, you know, it's my job. He tried this one that he ordered, and I said, "You might prefer this one, by the way." Afterwards, after I'd served him, and I let him smell this one. And he's like, "Oh, that's nice. Give me that one instead." I was like, "Oh, I can't exchange it, sir. You've already drank from that." And he's like, "Oh, it's okay. You have this one. I'll buy that one." I was like, "Ooh, I'll have that one." Oh, okay, sir. If you say so. So he bought me this really nice malt that I kept behind the bar and had once we finished. So that was a good thing. So that always makes me happy. But then I met him after the pub when I was walking home, and he was like, "If you have any problems, just come tell me. I live," and he told me his address, and he said he lived in Kings Park in Stirling.
Okay.
And I was like, "Kings Park? Isn't that the really posh bit?" And he goes, "Ah, son, I came from nothing, and I've grown to be the leader of a clan." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, clans have been, like traditionally they're not really a thing anymore. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's a heritage thing, right? That's about it. You just look back in your family tree, that's about it. But he was like, "If you have any problems, people know me around here. I'm the leader of my clan." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, I was like, "Cool, this rich guy just said he's got my back for whatever." So whatever, that was funny. And the final thing I wanted to bring up, kind of a general thing, but I've noticed it more and more. I kind of didn't believe it before. But since I've started working in the bar, I don't know if it's just the beard. I like to think it is. But and also the large amounts of alcohol and the fact that I provide the alcohol. I've had more women hit on me in the past 2 months than I have probably the rest of my life, excluding my wife, of course. So it's just crazy. Not every day. It's like, I'd say every few days I have somebody come in who's like, "Hey." Nothing crazy. I did have one girl last week try to come behind the bar because I did her a favor, because when we gave her, so we sell this moonshine, right? It's 52%, so it's quite strong stuff. And she was clearly not really wanting to do it, but her friends were, so she said she'd do it, etc.
Okay.
And I made a point of sliding her some water as I did it, but I didn't do that for anybody else because they didn't seem that way. And she was like, "Oh, you're so kind, thank you so much." And she kept trying to like hug me and get behind the bar, and I was like, whoa. I'm just trying to make you not. I just don't want to clean out your puke, missus. I'm just not interested in that. And then she was trying to buy me drinks. She was like, "Here, you have one. You have a moonshine too. You have a fireball. Do this. Have another one. Have another one." I was like, I'm working. I'm not drinking. I'm working.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Well, so that's something.
My job here, man.
People who work at bars, they run into a lot. For those who are single, they usually have quite the stories.
Yes, and I'm sure if I was single, I would have a lot of different experiences. But I'm happily married at that. I'm not just married. I'm a happily married man. I have zero interest.
No. See,
I have enough on my plate. My plate is full of happy life. I don't have any.
Is it full, Ken? It's quite a full platter.
is completely full of happiness, sir. I'm a full fire of happiness.
The way you motion that as you were defining the fact that you are a happily married man.
I would never do such a thing. How dare you imply that?
No. Well, so it's also funny to me though, because I always have this feeling that when a man has to sit there and he's telling a story like that, he's like, "No, I am happily married." It's kind of like that. Just tells you how aggressive or how like shocking some of that experience must have been to have girls just like.
It's
just short of throwing themselves at you. Oh, I understand.
It's rare for me. I think it's rare for guys in general to get hit on so openly.
Well, most guys,
because I'm in a place so frequently is full of people who are drinking and are forced to have social interactions with me. It means the dialogue's already open, so they're more likely to already converse that way, you know? Because it's rare, even if you're out and you party a lot, if you don't talk to people, you won't ever have those experiences. So the fact that I'm forced to have like open dialogue with these girls, and they've been drinking often quite a lot, they're like, "Oh, there's a man in front of me, and I want to bring a man home tonight. Therefore, let's do this." And I'm just like, "Nope, I'm gonna go serve that person. Bye bye." Run away quickly. But it's just a strange experience for me because I honestly never experienced that in my life. Guys, that just doesn't happen to guys. Girls get hit on all the time. Guys never get hit on. At least here in this country, it's very rare. It's very culturally strange for girls to hit on guys. So usually it's foreign chicks who try and hit on with me. Like it's never locals really. But so I had a couple, but it's weird. But regardless, just. If you see, I wear my wedding ring every freaking day. I do not take it off. I mean, like
you make
I
it.
Even
no,
you
make it seem like no. You make it seem like that matters at all to these gals. And we just lost Ken's video. It decided to freak out on us. It was a cool effect. Kind of. That's actually a cool effect. There it goes. Hey, see how long it lasts.
But yeah, I think it's just a laziness thing more than anything. Like there's somebody in front of me. To be fair, there's such a high amount of unfaithful guys and girls out there that even if having a ring on doesn't always mean anything, to be honest.
Well, I was gonna say I've seen a lot.
I wish it did more, just because it makes make my life easier. Just freaking leave me alone, man.
Well, I've told you before. The problem with the ring is it actually sometimes becomes an attractant because you've been vetted. No, what it means is that some woman obviously thinks enough of you to have wanted to commit to you for life. And so other women look at that and say, well, he must be a catch. He must be something worthwhile, so let me talk to him. Or maybe it's just kind of feels safe that way, and then at some point they realize that they've gone beyond where it's just a, nice little attraction to I'd kind of actually like to. Or something like that, right? Who knows?
Also, I'd like to address the IRC. Tom Bad Guy says she got shocked then asked you to try it. Lol, what an evil bitch. No. So she just said to me, like my manager. She's not actually a manager. She's my supervisor. But she's a top-notch 10 out of 10 best. I don't know, above me person ever. No. She's just an awesome. She's actually younger than me, but she's like my boss, and she's the boss of all the people there except for the owner. She's absolutely fantastic. She's a really, really good boss. Really understanding, really nice. She's the kind who can be firm, but isn't ever like, as TBG said, a bitch. Right? She's just a fantastic boss. But what happened was she was like, I think there's something wrong. I'm not feeling so good. I've got a weird vibration. And I was like, all right, well, go take a seat. What were you doing? She's like, I was working with the dishwasher. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And that's when I found out there was a shock, right? She thought it was just something going with her. She's like, what's up with my hands? They're all weird. So she didn't tell me to go and try it. It's more that, in fact, she tried to make me go away from it once. I said, yeah, I think it is shocking me. And I kept poking it. She's like, stop, no. I'm like, it's fine. I'm a big guy. I can get a little shock. It's okay.
I was gonna say that is actually kind of a guy reaction. I've taken a lot of electricity, and I'm like, man, it's not a big deal. What?
Well, the thing is, it's not. I could tell straight away that it was a low current because otherwise I'd know, right? I would have been thrown back or convulsing. The fact I was like, "Oh, this kind of hurts," is more just like it wasn't even bad. But yeah, I think that was everything. Earth says, "Bet she can be firm with Ken." No. Guys, you do realize she's listened to the show sometimes, right? You guys are gonna portray you're portraying yourself badly, not me. I'm portraying myself well here.
So you notice how Ken is defensive about that whole thought process, meaning that he's saying, of course he would never do something like that, but he's also at the same time basically admitting that she's quite the attractive lass, or at least he does recognize that she is, or such. Who knows?
Her attractiveness has nothing to do with anything, and I.
Except that he does at least acknowledge it. Okay.
I didn't say that either. I've never even considered it before in the past, nor do I plan to. Thank you.
It's alright, Ken.
I can evade very well, I'll have you know. Yes, I work hard.
I see what you're doing. I'm sure you do.
Okay. But yeah, that's everything I had. Do you have any more you'd like to do before we end? Otherwise, what we could do is a couple short bits of news.
What news? Is there news this week?
Just a couple. Well, there will be. Yeah. There's always news.
I did grab an article or two, but at the same time, I'm kind of deciding, like, man, do I even care? Let's see. All right, I'll do.
Oh, here's one that's quite interesting.
Technology, news, and more today on the Geekoscope.
Haha.
So
Alright, go.
half of Steam's biggest selling 2015 games are in early access. So only 6 games have sold more than 1 million units on Steam during 2015, and 3 of them are still in early access. That says something scary about the gaming landscape and how stupid people are. Don't support early access, it's a terrible thing. According to a tweet by Steam Spy, those 6 games were Grand Theft Auto 5, Cities Skyline, Rocket League, Ark Survival Evolved, H1Z1, and Besiege. Ugh. See why this is a bad thing. And as GameIndustry.biz points out, the latter 3 titles have yet to leave early access. This suggests that gamers are happy to support promising titles in early access, despite the fact that last year a research firm revealed that only 25%, 1 in 4, early access games had released a full final version. Only 1 in 4 of those games actually get finished, and you're paying for it! Stop it! You silly people! Stop it! It is terrible! You are paying for an unfinished product. Stop it! You're silly. You're ridiculous. The criticism has led to Steam taking action to stop selling early access games in limbo. Dinosaur game The Stomping Land was removed from the early access program after developers failed to update it for months on end. Ark Survival Evolved hit the 1 million PC sales mark in July, and its popularity will likely grow with its planned release on PS4 and Xbox One. Meanwhile, H1Z1 has attracted so many players that its developer, Daybreak, has had to ban thousands of cheaters. So, not all early access is bad, obviously. Obviously not, right? The problem is, there's so many that are. There are so many people that promise great things, and then they get millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of pounds, and they think, do we need to finish it when we've already been paid? Because I'm not promising them anything anymore. They paid for an early access. They didn't pay for the full game. Technically, we're not breaking anything here. So, I can understand the point of view. Why would you go on and work on something when you've been paid a large amount of money for what you've already done? Do you start building a house, get paid, I don't know, the whole amount of the house already, and then you don't even have to finish it because people aren't so interested anymore? You know? Like, at that point, like, ethically, like, sure they should for those who are still playing, but considering most people are like, I've played the early access and I'm done, I'm not too bothered, let's not chase it up, I've already paid.
Well, so that my biggest discussion about that is I believe it's completely fine to try to fund something that otherwise you don't think would actually be funded and be able to be created, especially from all these indie developers and stuff like that. And if you want to, you know, basically support that project, by all means support it. The challenge I have is that, like you're saying, when something doesn't ever make it, right? There's, you know, there's something to that.
1 in 4. 1 in 4.
My issue is that it's when you just take those risks, or it's a kind of game that you expect you might burn out on. You know that, yeah, I'll play that game for a month or two, and if it's $30 and fun, heck yeah, let's do it. My challenge is that if it's a game you aren't sure how long you're going to play, I would not pay for it and get into the early parts of it, because you might have already seen everything you care about before it was ever finished. Well, but that's my problem, right?
Not even just with early access. Just don't pay for games if you're not sure you're going to play them. Play a demo. Play a demo.
That's kind of what I mean, right? I'm kind of mean, like, if you don't know how much you're going to play it or something, then maybe you just, wait for it to come out all the way. I know that's hard because some people get so excited, they want it now, they really, whatever. But it's I
understand that. Yeah.
But at the same time, if you just let it, like, how do I say, instead of paying for it early and basically playing it to a point where you don't care anymore, wait for it to come out. Go pay for something else that you're going to spend enough hours in, it's okay. I believe in encouraging companies to finish products. I do believe in that. But it's a hard thing, right? Again, I paid for Star Citizen, but I'm not one who's been playing it. I'm waiting for it to come out. But then, I get into early access for something like a Call of Duty or something, I start playing the heck out of it, even though it's not done yet. But traditionally, I put hundreds of hours into the previous one, so I feel like I'll still get my money's worth from it when it's finally finished and released. It's hard to say.
No, definitely. All
right.
Oh, my video's going again.
That's all right. Well, with that, It is time for us to start wrapping up the show.
Let me do one more. One cool one. According to Bethesda Game Studios' official Twitter, more than 111,000 lines have been recorded for Fallout 4. And that's more lines than all of Fallout 3 and Skyrim had combined. Who's excited? I am. Okay,
it's going to be a big game. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for it to actually come out. But again, I'm waiting. I'm going to try not to get overly buzzed up until it's actually out. All right. Finish this up so we can get out of here because I got to go cosplay. I got places to be.
Sure, you've been listening to or watching ShowX on VTWProductions.com. We always appreciate it. Live from DragonCon.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Mr. Wayne for traveling out there and giving us live reports when he should be out having more fun with lots of people and lots of drink. Thank you for that, Mr. Wayne. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much to Alpha Geek Radio. All the help and all the streaming and such from their website is very much appreciated, and the support from Mr. Nomize and the rest of the crew. Thank you so much, guys. Always appreciate it. Check us out on patreon.com/showx and give us your pennies. Every penny goes towards a good cause. Trust me, it's all sitting there. We're ready to go and pay for new licenses and stuff. We really do appreciate it. Check us on Twitter, twitter.com/VTWShowX, twitter.com/GoX, twitter.com/DocTed. Find the 3 accounts there that are important. Facebook.com, search for ShowX and you'll find us there as well. Send us an email, showx@VTWProductions.com, and tell us how your geek cred and such has been going. Thank you so much for listening. Find us on iTunes and recommend us to your friends. We love you so much, Mr. Listener and our lady listener. Please tune in again next week.
All right. With that, everyone, we will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thank you, Ken.
Goodbye. See you next zombie.